your thoughts on separatist movements like Khalistan in Canada?
It's a sad situation that part of the community wants a separate nation or wants a separate state, and I believe we as Indians believe in right to equality, and we as a nation want to stay together. But I don't know, it's a political agenda, and at the end of the day, it's the people who suffer the most. The people who are involved are using it for their political favors, and I don't think it's gonna be beneficial for anybody at the end of the day.
Why do you think it's banned in India and still legally exists in Canada?
The major part of the community, the Sikh community who are in favor of that Khalistan movement, they are here based in Canada, and in India we have a mixed culture. There are Hindus, there are Muslims, there are Sikhs, and as many Sikhs I know back in India, they're not too much in favor of this movement. But in Canada, it's pretty active, and that's how I believe it's picking up a lot of pace in Canada. And I've recently moved here. I don't know the real story, the real ground story, but I've heard a lot that it's pretty active in Canada because of the majority of Sikh community here.
What do you think about Harjip's murder that provoked conflict between India and Canada?
I'm not too aware of the situation, what was the inside matter, but there was some, India has a different side of story. The Canadian government is taking it in a very different way, and obviously this is the reason why it caused a lot of disturbance between the nations.
What is the perspective from Indian government?
The Indian government is not treating the Khalistani movement in a very positive way. That is, everybody is aware of that, and their stand on this is they didn't take that the person involved, the guy who got murdered, somebody who's like favoring the community or somebody who's like contributing in a positive way. So that is the reason why I guess the government was more inclined, and they are still on taking the stand that he was not. They took it as a terrorist, I guess. They took him as a terrorist, and I'm somebody who's not going to take any of the sides. Canadian government has their own take on it because they have a majority of Sikh community in Canada, and they are really inclined towards the community. But back in India, the Sikhs are in minority. The Indian government is not like in favor of Khalistan movement. So ultimately, somebody who's pushing the movement, who's putting the whole situation more intense, or who's making the whole situation more intense, Indian government won't take it in a positive way.
Yeah, Hardeep was a wanted criminal in India, and he was killed on Canadian soil, which provoked this conflict between India and Canada, and it's really bad and it's getting only worse. Do you think it was worth it?
At the end of the day, it's a nation's call. If somebody is treated as a terrorist, for them that the killing was justified. But if you talk about the Canadian perspective, I would say if he was not a terrorist here, and if he was considered as a leader or for a group or of a community, then Canadian people will not take it in a similar way. It's just a different perspective. Even back in India, many people have mixed opinion about it. Not everybody is in favor of it, and not everybody is against it. And so many people don't know the political agenda behind it. I'm sure there is a hidden agenda from either side, and which is for them to figure out. We like common people, or like the general public, we cannot comment on the political stuff too much.